everybody. It's Ray. I think I'm going live, so I'm just going to start talking now. So the thing that I put on is Friends of Bill and Feeling Useless. So in life, I didn't prepare anything. Usually I try to like come up with a topic and stay on a topic and talk about things having to do with sobriety and stuff like that. But today I'm not going to do that. Today I am going to talk about like how I was feeling over the weekend. So over the weekend, I think it was Friday maybe. I just started to feel like, what is this all about? Life. To me, a little on my background is that, at this point in my life, I've been married and I never had children. I owned a house and it didn't work out. I moved to another state and I came back to live in New York, and it hasn't been easy. And even though I try to like look for at this point, even at 57 years old, I'm looking for my purpose. Like I'm thinking like, what is my purpose here? Because usually, people, in their 20s, 30s, and even friends of mine had children, families, houses, excel in their jobs, and they have like they feel useful. Their usefulness is, either taking their kids to baseball games, to making their family better, to just to get out of this life the best that people can probably get out of this life. Because you're here one time, and what do we get out of this? Like, you know what I mean? What are we here for? I mean, some people search that. Some people don't. Some people are into money, and they use all their energy to make money. Someone might be into cars, and they use all their energy into they buy their car, their automobile. They spend all their spare time, like when they come from work, they come home, they fix their car, they shine their car, they do their thing in their house, they do all that kind of stuff pertaining to maybe their car. Some people buy a house and everything is about their house. They want to fix up the kitchen, the bathroom, this, that. They want to do all the things that come for their house. Some people do their jobs and some people just want to make money as much as they can. Some people like hunting and like they just wait until the hunting season. Their life evolves around hunting, and they just wait for hunting season, and then they just go buy all the stuff and do everything for hunting and travel for hunting and do. So what I'm getting at is everybody like inside feels like what their purpose is. So, they go to work is their purpose. Their hobby is hunting, and then that's their purpose. They have a wife, get married, have kids, and that's their purpose. And then it just seems like we all and everything I say is just my opinion, and everything that I say is just my opinion, and everything that I say is just my observation. So being 57 years old, I observed a lot. So like the three things that I'm into is that I guess have experience in is one of the things that I have experience in is staying sober. So I've been sober for 30 years, and that's like what I share with people, and that's something that makes me feel useful. And then there's I did martial arts for over 20 years, and I've taught classes and traveled around. And at that time in my life, because I don't do that anymore, it made me feel useful. So that's what I did. And then you get to a certain age, you stop doing that, and it just becomes something in the past. And another thing that I do have been doing for my whole life is a plumber. That plumber, my name's Ray, plumber 462. So that is something that I've done to make me feel useful. I always strive to see what am I here for. We all ask that question to ourselves, like, why am I here? Why am I on this planet? Why was I born? And what was I meant to do? What was I meant to do here? And I've been through a lot of experiences in my life. I've gone to church, and I thought that was my use, that was my calling. And then, then I stopped going to church. I'm a plumber, and I've been a plumber my whole life, and I started to do that, and, feeling that was my identity. So was always trying to figure out, like, what is my identity? I don't know what, or who am I? You know what I mean? Who am I? And what do I do here to contribute to society? What do I do here? What do we all do here to contribute to society? What do we, why are we on this planet? And I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks along those lines. I doubt it. I'm sure it goes through everyone's mind, why, wondering why they're here, why they feel what their calling is, what they feel that they should be doing with their time. And, of course, when we're young, we go to school. Some people feel like they're going to go to school, and their thing, they go to college. And, I know some people, they went to college for one thing, and then they start doing the job, and then they realize it's not for them. And I was kind of like that. I thought at first, when I was young, I was 18 years old, I became a plumber. And that was my identity, doing plumbing. I went to work, learned how to do plumbing, sucked in as much as I could, because in my job, you feel like you need to know as much as you can to survive. And so I learned my business. That is just something that I learned. I'm in the union, so I always felt a little bit proud to be in the union. I'm talking about when I was younger. And I, used to go to union meetings, go to work, and then party. Because I put, like, friend the bills, sober living. And then while drinking and drugs and alcohol, drinking and drugs was a big part of my life. So being a plumber and hanging out with my friends was like a big thing. After I got sober, and the drinking and drugs are taken out of the equation, I'm still working I was still working as a plumber, and I still, was learning how to live clean and sober. So I spent a lot of my energy learning how to, stay clean and sober. And a lot of people, that's what happens in this life. We start to do something, and then when we get to a certain place, and not that when you get clean and sober, you just get clean and sober and it ends. You get to a certain place, and that's what happened to me. I got to a certain place in my business. And I decided that I was going to be a businessman, that was something that I wanted to do. I felt like going to work, working for someone else, making them all the money, and me not making any money. I made money. And, it wasn't like some people, they want to get the job, they want to get the medical benefits, they want to, like here in New York, like a city job, having a city job, want to get the job, want to have the benefits, make the regular pay your bills, meet a girl, get married, have kids, and, and that is some people's lives. And they do well at, and they exceed excel at it. You know what I mean? They excel at, living their lives. And then they have their kids, they watch their kids grow up. And one thing that this is my personal feeling on this, but I've watched other people, so I know. I've watched, like, fathers with their kids, and is that people, when you have children, you have unconditional love. You learn to love unconditionally. I've watched people and their children have, like, in their younger age, start to fall short, have fallen short from, the parents' expectations, and the parents still loved them. Maybe they got on drugs, maybe they went out with a girl that they didn't like, whatever the case may be. Whatever their child did, they loved them. That thing that's inside of us, that thing that's inside of us that makes us search and seek, they found that in their children. And it sparked that when they had children and had a baby. They had found that unconditional love, that way to love unconditionally. So that since they learned how to love unconditionally, it drove them, and they were driven to take their kids to baseball games, have their kids play sports. I have a very good friend of mine, and that's what he did with his own kids. He took them to baseball. He liked doing that when he was younger. Then when he got older and he had kids, he had his kids in baseball. He had his kids in football. He had his kids in hockey. He had basically, he was into sports, and he had his kid in sports. I have another friend of mine. He was into martial arts and lifting weights and exercising, and that's what he imparted into his kids, into his children. Those were his qualities, and those were the qualities that he was passing on. My other friend that has his kids in baseball and stuff like that, he is all about family. So they're all about Christmas. They're all about Thanksgiving. They're all about birthdays. They're all about the 4th of July. So they have all these points throughout the year where they're going to do things with the family, go on one vacation. But all of that stuff, and like I said, it's my opinion, is driven by unconditional love. They love unconditionally. So what they do with that love is do what they know. And so what they did was they, passed on what they knew to their children. And in that was love. And their children felt that unconditional love. They just felt it from them. And some kids, when they feel that, that's their goal, to have a wife, have kids. And we know that doesn't always last. I remember seeing this statistic that basically only 50% of marriages last the whole lifetime. And the other 50% of the people, get divorced. And now they're with the person, and I don't know if they fall out of love, or life gets too hard, or I don't know exactly what happens, but they end up separating. One thing that I realized in life is that, because I always wanted that. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to have a wife. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have the house. I wanted to have all that. And now at this age, I'm not going to have kids. But I'm not even sure now if I can love unconditionally. I'm not sure. I don't think I can. But I would like to experience that, but I just have not experienced that. I experienced that I care about someone, and I would, do whatever I can for them, but never unconditional love. Myself, I've always placed conditions on love. I've read things about love, and then I say, well, love is in action. So if you're not doing things in your actions to show me that you love me, then you don't love me. And then once I overextend myself, I notice in myself in relationships that once I would overextend myself and I wasn't getting what I thought that I should be getting, I would end it. Not knowing if it continued, if I continue to love unconditionally and if I continue to be with the person, maybe I would get to the point where I loved unconditionally. I'm not sure. I don't know. So, these are things that went on in my life that I wasn't sure of, and it just never happened. I just never learned to love unconditionally, I feel. I don't. I try to think about my life and to say, you know what, you really love that person unconditionally. I don't think so. But I always noticed that people that have children, they always love their kids unconditionally. They might not get along with the wife, with the girl that they married, but always the kids. More, and I'm not going to say every single person, because my father left when I was 5 and I never saw him again. So I might think you've seen him here or there, but never, he was never in my life again on a regular basis after 5 years old. So there are, exceptions to the rule that people have kids and that they abandoned them and don't love them anymore and don't love unconditionally. So there is an exception to the rule, but on the whole, as I've watched people seemed not to. People seemed to, when they had children, want to do everything they possibly could to make their kids happy. Make them live in a nice place. Make them live in a nice neighborhood. Make them feel comfortable. Try to steer them in the right direction. Everything that they had in their power, that they were able to have in their power, they would do. And some of them did it well, and some of them did okay, and some of them didn't do that good. It's just how people are. Nobody's perfect. But we could always pick out, and how I know, like that there is unconditional love, because I know my mom loved me unconditionally. I know it. I felt it. She was able to show it to me through her actions. I mean, like I put Friends of Bill, Sober Living. I noticed like up until 25, maybe from like 22 to 25, I was a horrible kid. I got into a lot of trouble. I did a lot of negative things. And no matter what, my mother always loved me. No matter what I did, even if she was angry, she could still love me and be mad at me at the same time. And I could remember, like one thing that always sticks out in my head is, I remember one time I was out like for 3 days and I was drinking, doing drugs, getting high, and I probably wasn't home for 2 or 3 days. So I come home and it's like a Sunday night or a Sunday afternoon, or I come home Sunday morning and sleep until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, and then I wake up and no, as a matter of fact, I was out for a couple of days and then end up coming home about 5 o'clock. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I come home 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday after being out, not being home from Thursday. And I was out the whole, doing my thing, doing what we do when we're using drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I come stumbling in the door. I just make it in. I want to go to bed. And my mother sees me and she says, "Did you eat?" And I said, "Nah, I didn't eat, but I'm just going to go to bed." She goes, "No, I want you to eat some." And she used to make these things like little steaks, these little minute steaks, and put them on a bagel and put some A1 steak sauce. And she used to call it steak on a bagel. Of course, you know, she made a steak and put it on a bagel, you know. So she used to call it steak on a bagel. And she made this steak, and I guess she had some potatoes and just made herself this dinner. And she pushed it over towards me and says, "You eat this." And I'm like, "Ma, no, I'm not gonna eat that. You just made that for yourself." And she's like, "Eat it," because she knew that I didn't eat for days. She knew that I had probably had nothing in my stomach, and she wanted to make sure that before I laid down, I had some kind of nourishment. And she just walked away. She put that stuff in front of me. I ate it, and then she went and made herself like some pieces of toast, and that's what she ate and gave me her meal. And I never forget that, you know, and I always remember now that, you know, that when I get older, of course, I didn't remember it right there and then, but that was unconditional love. My mother loved me unconditionally. She was, and I can tell by her actions that even though she was angry with me for the things that I was doing, and it's probably more angry that she was afraid that I was going to die, overdose, or get myself into some kind of trouble where I would be in jail for the rest of my life. You know, so she had a lot of things going on in her mind. But right there and then, it was about food and did I eat? And if I didn't, let me get you some food. So that's how she was. And I never forgot that. The thing later on in life is my mother was sick. She was in the hospital bed. She had like a tracheotomy. She had 2 strokes, and they had to keep her alive because for life support, and they gave her a tracheotomy, that, you know, that thing that they stick in your throat so you can breathe, a respirator. So this way you can breathe. And I remember one time walking in the hospital. Here's a lady that when you have that thing in your throat, you can't eat. So I said, "Here's this lady. She is eating this." I'm burnt. I'm tired too, but I wanted to go on tonight, so I just said, "Let me just get on and, you know, just chat with people." I don't want to be a guy. I got to try and make like a schedule and stick to it. But right now, I'm not. I'm here now. So I remember her walking into the hospital, and she's laying in the bed, and she had to be laying in that bed a month, maybe 2. You know, they were feeding her through a feeding tube, but she was still conscious. You know, she was still conscious. And I walk in, and she cradles. She makes a cradle like that. You know, has me in her arms and cradles and does this, and she goes, "Oh, my baby." And I realized that I was probably in my middle 40s at the time. And I realized here's this woman, she's looking at me, and she sees a baby. She still sees a little baby son, even though I was a grown man. And that was another time that I realized, wow, this lady, man, when she looks at me, she's not seeing this grown guy. She's not seeing this guy. At the time I was so in my 40s, probably sober 20 years. She didn't see that. She saw her little baby. And in her heart, you know, it always, I remember my sister, she used to always say, "Oh, no matter what wrong he does, he's always my son, my son. He's always the baby, the one that's got to be cared for." Meanwhile, I weighed 260 pounds. I was a 3rd-degree black belt in martial arts, and it didn't matter. To her, I remember my mother came to one of my black belt tests. I was testing, I think, for my 2nd degree. And my mother had come, she was in a wheelchair, and they brought her up the stairs in a wheelchair. And she came up and was watching the test. And when the test got to the sparring part, and like we were sparring and I was getting hit and stuff like that, in between rounds, I looked over to look at her, and she was crying. So I walk over and I go, "Ma, what's the matter?" And she goes, "Why are you letting those people hit you?" She didn't realize that it was a test, and, you know, we were sparring. And she was like looking at me. She's like, "Why are you letting those people hit you?" And I just thought it was funny. But even at that age, she didn't want to see me get hurt. You know, and I was a big guy, strong guy, construction worker. My mother still didn't want to see me get hurt. So I thought that was fun. So I know I had a very close friend of mine, and his son was drinking a lot. And he was drinking and he was blacking out and he was doing some crazy stuff, you know. And he was trying his best to try and control the situation. And so what happens is, what do? We, well, I'm going to say him because I didn't have kids. But him, he reacted with anger. That's all he knew. Or he didn't, you know, at first he tried to talk to him, say, son, you drinking is no good for you. You know, it's never going to lead you anywhere profitable in your life, not just monetarily, but, you know, you're never going to be a success, whatever success means, if you continue to drink like that. And his son didn't listen. And I'm talking about for years and years, his son didn't listen. And I remember telling him, you know, your son has his own path that he needs to go through. Just like we did, he has his own path and he's going to go through that path, and there is nothing you're going to do about it. So his son continued on the path until probably just 2 years ago, when he got sober. And he started to go to AA meetings, and it took to him like white on rice. He got involved. He started going to meetings. He made friends. Everybody in like, there were people in his age group, so he had peers, and he started to live the sober life. He started to live that life without alcohol or drugs. Well, he didn't do drugs. He just drank. But he started to live that life without alcohol. And, you know, 2 years later, man, let me tell you, I was at a meeting and I heard this kid speak, and I almost cried, because I remember I knew him from a baby, you know, from 2-3 years old. And now he's a grown man, and he had a successful job. He does well at what he does for a living. And now he's even more successful. He almost lost his job because of a couple of things that he did. He ended up staying at his job, and he is successful now. People back trust him again. They want to see him succeed, see him excel, and that was all due to him getting sober. But 10 years prior to that, my friend was racking his brain trying to figure out what he was going to do for this kid. And there was nothing that he can do. His son had to go his own way. I don't know how to phrase that. I know that there's like a phrase, but not toot your own horn. But anyway, it'll come to me later. His son had to beat his own drum. His son had to live to the beat of his own drum. So he had to go through what he had to go through to get where he got. So that's all of us. So now I'm going to talk about the subject of feeling useless. Because all of us, not only do all of us want to be loved and feel love, we all want that emotion. We all want to be with someone who loves us, who cares about us, who wants to see us do good, who, when we have successes and we have like highs in our lives, we can have someone to share with. And then when we have lows, we have someone to share with, so they can help us get out of our lows. You know, we all want that. We all seek that. We all have that something that's missing inside that we want to fill. You know, and of course, God, I believe in God, so I have to talk about it. God wants us to fill that with Him. But we do fill that with God, and we fill it with other people, with other things too. And one of the things, and I think God gives people children so people can learn how God feels about us. This way they can learn how he feels about us, because there's this thing in us, or them, because I don't have it, that there's this thing in them that loves their kid unconditionally, and they will do anything. If their kid ends up in jail, they will go to that jail every week and bring them cigarettes, put money in the commissary. They will do for them. And that is like unconditional love. And I guess God, wants people to have children, so this way they can experience that with their children, and we can understand how he feels about us. And I guess, when I put the title down, Feeling Useless, like I said before, I'm 57 years old. I don't have children. I mean, I've done my job for a certain amount of years. I'm done with it. I did martial arts for a certain amount of years. I'm done with it. The only thing that I'm not done with is sobriety, staying sober, and clean, and living a good life. I'm not done with. I'm not going to be done with sobriety, because the opposite of if I'm being done with sobriety is to drink and do drugs again. And I know one thing that I'm 100% sure of is that I know that going back to that will never solve any of my problems. But there are times when I'm by myself and I feel depressed. I feel useless. I say, I wonder, what am I doing here? What is the purpose for my life? What is my purpose? Because I don't care about, like I said before, guys buy a car. That I have no interest in any particular activity that I'm passionate about, except for being an Alcoholics Anonymous and staying sober. And I don't even know what kind of passion or what level of passion I'm into it, but it is something that I'm passionate about. It's because that's why I made this channel, because sometimes I'm here talking to myself for hours, and I wonder what I'm doing here, and that's I can let that creep in and say, nobody wants you. Nobody wants to hear about you. Nobody, cares about your life. Nobody cares about your experience. Who do you think you are that you're going to come on and people are going to start talking to you, and you're going to help people, with what goes on in their lives and staying sober and stuff like that? I don't know. I don't know what. So I'm at the point. So just this weekend, I was feeling kind of useless. I say this in all my streams. I got hurt on it. That's how I got into this. I got hurt on the job. I had nothing to do. I played a game called Magic the Gathering. I started to look on YouTube to see how, professional players played the game, to get better at playing the game, and figured out if I'm home, maybe I'll become a professional Magic player. So I started to watch that, and then one thing led to another, and then I saw on YouTube that guys were streamed, and then I found Twitch, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, and I started to watch it. And then I was like, I wonder, what if I can do something on there. So what I started to do before I did this What's Chatting channel, before I started to do that, what I did was I was going to stream Magic the Gathering and just play the game and see how it went. And then as I looked a little bit more into Twitch, I was like, oh, people stream and they're just chatting and they're talking about whatever they're talking about. And I said, well, I can do that. I have a topic. I have something that I can talk about that I have experience with. I'm going to start talking about sobriety. So this is probably I'm going to say that this is probably my 9th or 10th stream, 9th or 10th time that I've been on. And I haven't got any, I got 20 followers. And I don't, not that I don't care about, how many people follow me, because I've had a conversation with people, like somebody would come, people would come, and like two or three people would come, and we would end up like I would be talking on this, because like what I do is sometimes set up a little lesson. I'm not going to call it a lesson, but a topic, and start discussing that topic, and people would come, and then once they came, it would kind of go shoot off the topic, and then we just started talking about everything. So I'm not on here just to talk about one thing. Like if I played, if I was playing Magic or anything like that, I wouldn't come on just for that. So then, like I said, I saw the just chatting. I said I got experience in drugs and alcohol, not drinking, and active. I was an active alcoholic and drug addict. Now I'm inactive. I don't do it. So, that's my story with that. So I didn't know where I was going with this. Oh, right. So this weekend I am home, and I'm by myself. I might have went to a meeting that day, but just spent a couple of hours outside with people. And then I came home, and there's not even a cat here, not a dog, nothing to take care of, just me watching television. And then I decided to stream. I said, let me go on and stream, because I don't have it planned. This isn't something that I am 1,000,000% sure on. You know what I mean? But I just figured, let me get started, and that's what I'm doing. I just got started, and to see where this goes, because I feel like in real life, I'm clean and sober over 30 years, and I have met a lot of people, helped some people along the way, and even though I feel that is my purpose, like one of my purposes in life, it still doesn't feel like either I'm doing enough, or I'm really part of, or, because all these negative things could pop into my mind. So I'm going to eat a couple of chips since nobody's on. Because I was told one time, I was told by a guy one time, he says, don't eat when you're streaming. And actually I believe that too. I hate watching people eat while they're streaming. Well, I have one person. When the time comes that I got 50, 100 people watching me, I won't eat. So, this weekend, during the week, I started to feel some uselessness, and why am I here? Starting to question my existence, and feeling like, well, if I die, nobody will care. Who cares if I die? Who cares if I'm not here? Nobody. Then I went to a union meeting, and a guy, he goes, "Right." I had a bunch of young guys and a young girl come over to me, start talking to me, this, that. And he asked me, how do you know all these young people? I said, well, they come in my path. Either if I was a foreman on a job or a worker, they either worked with me, and when someone had worked with me in their life, if I saw that the kid was really interested in, like, learning the trade and being good at his job and wanting to learn, I gave that kid everything that I had. Even if they were with me for a month or two or a week, I try to impart in them something that I learned in the business that might be useful to them in their future. And they didn't forget that. So when they see me, they feel a connection. Or maybe they feel sorry for me, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it happens. So this weekend, I was feeling a little down. I suffer from depression. I get depressed. And then especially when I'm sitting alone, it really can come over me. The depression can come over me when I'm by myself, and these things start to go through my mind. The one thing that we say in AA is that the mind is like a bad neighborhood. You never go there by yourself. So I'm in my mind, in my house, by myself, not talking to anyone, and then all of a sudden, I get a text, and it's from a guy. I had lived in Colorado for like 8 years, and I made a friend, and we're like brothers. I consider him my brother. He took me under his wing. He introduced me to his friends in Colorado. Their hobby was shooting, and so I got into shooting because they were doing it, and it was something to do with people. So I started to see this guy every weekend. He owned actually the gun shop in Colorado. So I would go to the gun shop, and the gun shop was like the coffee shop. And all like guys that were into like firearms, this, that, the other thing, they all showed up to that gun store. And we can just sit there and talk, of course, while he was doing business. We can just sit there and talk for hours and hours and hours and hours. So, there was a tightness there, a camaraderie there. I'm just leading up to my relationship with this person. So then I get a text, and he says, I have something to tell you, and it's bad news. And he has cancer that's in remission or under control. I don't know. It's either under control or in remission. And I thought that he was going to give me like real bad news. But he just told me that he was at work. He fractured 3 of his ribs. When they went when they took x-rays, they saw like little spots. And then they told him that the cancer has spread into like on his bones on his ribs. And because it does that, his ribs get weak, and he broke his ribs, and now he's feeling that he's not going to be able to work anymore. Long story short, we ended up talking for like 2 hours. We hang up, and that's that. That was Saturday, earlier in the day. Then, Friday, I get a call from a friend of mine telling me his mom died. And I knew his mom was like my mother. All us kids hung out in their house. We, ate there. We played there. We at that one, we smoked weed there. We drank there, And his mother was like a second mother. We were always in the house, just like they were always in my house. And she would cook, and I would eat there, and we always hung out. Then they bought a big house, and then we always hung out in the basement. But we were always in their house. So she passed away this weekend, and there's 2 brothers. The younger one calls me up and says, his older brother, because I don't like naming names, is taking it bad because he was the one that took care of his mother for the last 2 years. His mom was sick, and he took care of her for the last 2 years, and he, was basically in charge of her, and now she was gone, and he didn't know what to do with himself. Plus, part of it is he had some guilt. He was feeling some guilt because I don't know if anybody has ever taken care of like a family member, but my mom was in a wheelchair and was in a wheelchair for 9 years. She had 2 strokes, One on the left side of the brain, one on the right side of the brain. So one slurred her speech, and the other one made her body have half part of her body paralyzed, and that's how she lived her life for the next 9 years, in a wheelchair. So I would have to go take care of her. But, being a younger guy, I was always coming and going and this and that. And I wouldn't go visit every day. I just didn't go visit every day. And I felt like I got to live my life, So I would not be there for her for the most part. I mean, I was there, but not, the best son in the world, we'll say. But there was still a lot that went to it because it was 3 nights a week over the house, or if she was in the hospital, 3 or 4 visits to the hospital. It was always something, with her. She didn't have diapers. She used to have to wear diapers. She didn't have diapers. Go to the store. They don't have no food in the house. Go do some shopping. It was always, my life evolved partly around my mother. And when she died, there was a kind of relief, like a kind of, like something that was on my shoulders that was lifted off. And I felt guilty. And see, he felt the same way. So I say that to say this, that when we were talking, I was sensing that he, was feeling that. And I told him, I said, well, I felt like this one. He goes, I feel the same thing. And so we end up having a 2-hour conversation about, our childhood, this, that, the other thing, but also that one feeling. And then I got off the phone, I went about my business, and I forgot all about it. Then I see him at the funeral on Sunday, and his brother at the funeral on Sunday, and his brother comes over to me and he's like, hey, Ray, he goes, thanks a lot, man. He goes, you really helped him. He was like really feeling horrible, and you called him up and you made him laugh and you talked about old times and you got his mind off it, and he was able to function. So I tell those 2 stories. There is one more in there, but I actually forgot what it was. And I was there for 2 people on Saturday. I literally spent probably 5 to 6 hours on the phone with 2 people. In some places that's a work day, 6 hours. So I talked to them for between these 2 guys for 6 hours, and I started feeling great. I was feeling a little down from the week before. My sister, went to what the hell was that? What am I saying? I'm a little tired. So, so these guys needed somebody at that time, and I was there for them. And so one of the guys says, he goes, thanks, Ray, you talked me off the edge. He goes, I was on the edge, and I was going to start exploding, and you talked to me and put things into some kind of perspective, and you helped me. So even though 2 hours before that, I was feeling totally useless, wondering why I was on this planet, and wonder what I was going to do with my life. 2 hours later, 2 people called me, and I was able to get out of myself and help someone else. And that's how AA works. You see, AA works that way. AA works like teaches us to get out of ourselves. Like, instead of me sitting in the house and worrying about where my life is going and what I'm doing, I had to put myself out there. I had to put myself out there to be of service to people. And that's, basically how we feel like if we start to feel a little emptiness, is to, instead of sitting with it on our own, is to get out there and try and be useful somewhere, to volunteer somewhere, to do something for someone else, to be a part of some kind of volunteer something, just to do something to not be in our own heads. Because, like I said before, my head is a dangerous place to be. So that's what we do. That is a one thing for myself. And like I said, for 2 hours before that, I was feeling useless. I had self-pity. I was like, I don't have nobody. I don't have a family. I got nothing to lose. All this kind of negative thinking. And then 2 hours later, people needed help. And I realized it's sort of like that movie. I forgot what the name of that movie. It's a Wonderful Life, where he thought that his life was, useless, and then, the angel showed him all these things in his life and how many lives that he's touched and where people would be if he wasn't in it, So I even though that's very hard to accomplish, we have to learn how to be open to other people. Yeah, and one thing that I'm very fortunate, even when it comes to AA and going to AA meetings and doing the AA thing, I have to always realize that I have to be of service to people. I have to be available for someone that might want to talk. I have to be open, even inside, if I don't want to be bothered, I try my best, we have the saying in AA, live and let live. I try my best to not be judgmental, because a lot of people I see and listen to and cross paths with, I can start to judge. I'm going to say, because at this stage in my life, I've learned to try my best not to be judgmental. But when my first instinct, and I'm human, and my first instinct is to judge someone. Is to look at their clothes, look at the thing and people do that to me because I'm big. I'm a big guy. If I'm not smiling or sitting and being quiet to myself, I have a sort of rough look about me. I have tattoos all over, so people see that, and right away they have a preconceived notion of who I am. And I do the same thing. I'm not going to say that I'm not guilty of that, because I am guilty of that too. That I'll look at someone and say, look at this guy. He thinks he's cute. Or look at this girl. She thinks she knows everything. Or whatever the case may be. Is my first instinct. My first instinct is to do that. Fortunately, at this stage in my life, I'm able to get out of that right away. It wasn't always like that. It might have, life's experiences will teach us, a lot of different things, because that's what'll happen. When I was in my 30s, I just judged you right away. So when I was in my 30s, I looked you up and down, sized you up, and I already knew who you were in my mind. And in my mind, I thought I was right. So in my mind, I sized you up. I looked at you. I thought I knew about you. I thought I knew what you were about. And I either, would be open to listening to you talk, or I would just shut you out, and have put that kind of face on where even if you looked in my direction, you wouldn't even think about talking to me. You would go, if I was sitting there, you would go talk to somebody else before you would decide to talk to me. So that was and that's what I mean when, life is a process. Then as I got a little older, what I would do is not try to be judgmental. It would have to be a conscious decision. Once I started to be judgmental and get into that judgmental phase or emotion or train of thought or whatever, once I was in it for a while, I would catch myself, or maybe even probably not that day, or maybe not even the next day, but then somewhere down the line when I was doing the 10-step, taking my personal inventory, And when I was wrong, promptly admit it. So it says we continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admit it. That doesn't mean that you go admit it to someone else, that you have to go admit it to someone else. But at least I got to be honest with myself. I have to be honest where I'm coming from. I have to be honest with my train of thought and understand my train of thought. And once I was able to do that, and that takes practice, and I'm talking about whenever people tell me, oh, I don't judge. If I see like young people and they tell me I don't judge, I don't believe you. So, because everybody does it. So now at my age in my 50s, I go to the next level of when I size someone up, look at someone up and down, and I see and they might be doing something I don't like, I ask myself, where were you when you were their age? What were you doing when you were their age? It's sort of like when I started doing plumbing. The things that apprentices are like us, and when we in the union, you would do a 5-year apprenticeship. By 3rd-year apprenticeship, a little knowledge is dangerous. So anybody that has a little bit of knowledge, they just think that they know so much, and they're like, oh, I was working with this guy, and he's got 20 years in the business, and I had to tell him what to do, and he don't know shit, and I know everything, and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, it's probably bullshit, but, well, it is bullshit. So people in AA also do the same thing. In AA, we say you got to live your life, you got to stay sober for just one day. So some people say whoever wakes up earliest in the morning is sober longer. Well, I don't go by that. You know what I mean? Because I got over 30 years of experience trying to stay sober. And I'm not going to compare myself to somebody that has 1 week of sobriety, and because they woke up at 6 and I woke up at 10, they're more sober than me. You know, that don't make no sense. So, but what I do is, as I watch people grow, because then I watch people and people start to get the knowledge, they start to use the lingo, no matter what we do. So I'll just say using 2 things we'll say like in the 3 things that I'm into in plumbing and sobriety and in martial arts. A guy in martial arts, he comes and all of a sudden he's throwing like a great roundhouse kick, and he's throwing a beautiful roundhouse kick. Then he looks at me, I'm 50 years old, and he's watching me, and of course his kick looks better than mine because he's young and I'm old. So my body doesn't work the same way as his body does. But if it came to the point where we were going to teach someone how to do that kick, I would be able to teach the person better how to do that kick than them, because I had done it so many more times, and his might look better, but as far as the technique goes and the actual kick, to teach someone the actual technique and how to do it properly, they're going to learn that from me. And that goes for the same thing in plumbing, it goes the same thing in sobriety, and it goes the same thing in life. Like I was talking to, I mentor a girl in our union, and every time I tell her something, like today, I told her today, she's into welding, and I told her, make sure you just concentrate on welding. For the next 3 months, you're in school, you're welding, just concentrate on welding. She's like, yeah, but I do this. Yeah, but I do that. Yeah, but I do that. I said, shut up. I said, be quiet and just listen to what I'm telling you. Don't but me. One of the things that we say in AA is that everything after but is bullshit. Because once you start talking and then you're like, yeah, but, and my girl does that too. Every time I talk to her about something, I try to give her advice. Something happens in life and this and that. And I say, well, maybe you should try and do this. She says, yeah, but. So by her saying, yeah, but, is like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not doing I'm going to do something else. And I don't care if you have 30 years experience in that, I'm still going to do what I want to do. And where does that come from? That comes from everybody has to learn by their mistakes. Everybody's path is different. And everybody, and like at this point stage in the game, I allow everybody to do what they want. And if I see someone going to, well, I'm just going to say plumbing. If I see someone doing something wrong and I approach them and say, hey, don't do that way because, it's in the end, right now it looks right. But by the time you're finished with this project, there's going to be 3 things wrong with the way you're doing that. If I say that and then they say, yeah, but I just let them do it. I said, go ahead. Because that person has to learn on their own. They got to get all that. And I don't say I told you so. There will, of course, and then like I said too, when I was in my younger years, in my 30s or 40s, I would say, I told you. I told you not to do that. I told you to do it my way. And what does that solve? It doesn't solve anything. So then I would do, so at this stage of the game, I would just let them make their mistake. And then just be there to when they came to me and said, Ray, I made this mistake, I would say, okay, this is how you fix it. And give them the easiest way to fix it. And that's how I would gain people's trust. Because I didn't run around, because even in my trade and in my business, as soon as somebody makes a mistake, and in life in general, with anyone, people make mistakes, and then people can't wait to go tell everyone, I told them to do it this way. They didn't listen, and look at them now. And when you think about it, what does that solve? It doesn't solve anything. So when somebody decides to beat their own drum, do things the way they want to do, I will be there to help them fix it. That is my job. So when the times come that I have that useless feeling, I wish that I can say, you know what, something's going to come along and I'm going to be able to help someone someday, and I'm going to be able to, be in someone's life, and I'm going to be able to be a positive influence. I already am a positive influence in some people's lives. Sometimes they take my positivity, and sometimes they need to make their own mistakes, and no matter what they want to do, I'm there to help them before they make the mistake or after they make the mistake, just like people were there for me. And that is like this is like an observation that I've made. This is something that I've seen, and I incorporate it into my life. It's not something that I was able to just do like the first day. Say, you know what? Some people learn by their mistakes, and some people learn by other people's mistakes, and I'm going to be here to pick up the pieces. No. And the first, people used to make mistakes, and I used to say, I told you. I used to say, I told you so. And then I was in people's lives, and they would make a mistake, and I would say, I told you so, but, and give them a hand. Now I cut out, I told you so, and I'm just there. And while they're waiting for me to say, I was right and you were wrong, I just don't say nothing. Knowing in my own mind, you made a mistake like everybody makes mistakes, and hopefully you learn by it and don't do the same mistake 20 times. They say that the meaning of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. So if you're doing something negative and you keep doing it over and over, expecting it to change if I'm doing the same thing over, because I just try to keep this to myself, not to other people. If I'm doing the same thing over and over, and then try to expect a different result, that's insanity. It's a form of insanity, because it's a waste of time, first of all, a waste of energy, and you know, and then it's also a waste that you could have been doing the good thing 2 times the amount of time instead of failing and then just doing it 1 time. So that's, an observation of mine. But the reason why I put like feeling useless was because I got hurt on the job. So now I can't walk the same way I used to walk. I can't exercise. I can't do anything. And I'm alone. I live by myself, so a lot of the times I'm alone. I'll go to a meeting during the day, meet some friends, have some lunch, go to a union meeting. It's not that I'm not active, but I do spend a good amount of time by myself. And being by myself, you could only watch so many movies. You could only be on, this is how I found Twitch and, YouTube and all that. I can only be active so much and keep my mind occupied so many hours during the day. There is going to be downtime. And I have to remember to fill my downtime, my thoughts in my downtime with something good and not something negative. I have to be conscious of what I'm doing. I have to be conscious of that. I have to be aware. It's an awareness. I have to be aware that I'm doing that. Because as soon as I start to say to myself, oh, you're useless. What are you here for? Why are you on this planet? You don't help nobody. You're no good. That shit starts to take a life of its own on. And all I did was just open up a door. And now my mind is just racing with negativity. And then once I see that I'm once I get into an uncomfortable spot, now I got to start backtracking and start cutting that down to try and get myself back to normal. And it was just a total waste of time. One of the things that they say in AA is that feelings aren't facts. Just because I'm feeling a certain way, that doesn't mean that is the truth. It's just a feeling. And feelings come and feelings go. Nothing ever stays the same. I mean, it might last, different amount of times. Like if somebody dies, you might feel sad for a week, but sooner or later, the sadness is going to leave. It's going to go away. And I'm not going to be sad. Or something's going to happen in my life, make me laugh, make me smile, whatever it may be, a funny movie, hanging out with a friend. Most of the times I've noticed is that once I start to move, I keep forgetting what the saying is. I got to find it and write it down, but it's move a muscle, change your feeling. Change the way you feel. So as long as once I make a move, one thing they say is like at work they would say you can't hit a moving target. So at work when they say you can't hit a moving target, that means that if you're moving and always busy, when the foreman or a boss comes up and looks at you, he sees me moving. He just looks and says, oh, that guy's moving. I could just be walking back and forth. But if he comes and he takes a look and sees me moving, he goes, oh, that guy, he must be doing something. He's walking around. But if I'm standing still, and I might be standing still, I'm a plumber, so and I'm looking at something and trying to figure it out, and I'm standing still, he might look at me and say, look at this guy. Every time I come, he's standing around. So, we always have to stay moving. I've always had to stay moving. And that's one of the techniques. So these are, and like one of the things that I say when I get on these streams and do this and stuff like that is like, these things are tools. And when we go to a job, we don't take all the tools out and put all the tools in our hand at one time and take the wrench and take the torch and take the screwdriver and take the hammer and try and use the torch, the screwdriver, the hammer, and everything at one time. No. Something has to be done. We got to cut a piece of pipe. We take the cutter. Just the cutter. We don't take out the cutter, the hammer, the drill, everything to cut the pipe. We take out the tool for the job. Same thing with life. If I'm judging someone, I take out the judge, the part of me that judges people. And I try to remove that part out of the equation. So this way I'm not judging. If somebody needs a hand with something and I just feel like staying home, I remove that that thing of laziness and put in the tool of ambition and go and help them do whatever they need to do. So, and I don't know if I'm describing everything perfectly, but that's what's coming out. Because this isn't practiced, this isn't rehearsed, this isn't like whatever I say on here isn't a rehearsal. I don't have lines, I just speak from the heart. That's what I do here. I just talk from, I speak from the heart, and I speak from experience, because that's all I can talk about. I'm definitely a person that only tries to speak from experience. I don't try to speak about something that I know nothing about. So when it comes to sobriety, I have over 30 years of experience. When it comes to plumbing, I have like 39 years experience. When it comes to martial arts, I have over 20 years experience. I was actually a stagehand once in my life, so I have maybe like 4 years. So I got 4 years of experience with that, so I can speak on the 4 years of experience. But only the 4 years of experience, because there's so much more to that job. But I can say this was my experience with that. And that's what I do. Like if somebody asks me for my advice, I never say this is what you should do. I never do that. If somebody says to me, I'm going through this, and I have had a similar situation where I went through that, I would just tell the person, this is what I did. And it may work for you, it may not work for you, but at least you have some sort of reference that when that happens again, you might be able to try and use it. You might not be able to try and use it. I don't know. But I have it. Here's my experience. Take it or leave it. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. That's one thing that we are saying in AA, is that if someone's talking, like a lot of times someone will be talking and the speaker will be speaking and the person doesn't identify with, what the person is talking about, right away they shut them down. Right away, they don't want to listen to what they got to say. Oh, this guy, blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. I don't identify. I can't really say. When someone speaks, there's always something that can be taken from it. Positive or negative. But there's always something that can be taken from it. And that's what I try to do. When I listen to somebody speak, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. There's one guy in particular, he goes to AA. He is like all over the place helping everyone. He just is always, never shuts up, always puts his hand up. And I have to say, maybe he annoyed me for a week. But then I kind of looked at him and said, well, the guy's, this is his experience. He's got such and such amount of time sober. This is what he needs to do for himself to stay sober. This is what he needs to do. Now, I have a friend of mine that, been seeing the guy, he's go for 3 years or whatever, and he can't stand him. And then whenever the guy gets up to talk or say something, oh my God, this guy, he's talking again, blah, blah, blah. And not that there isn't one or two people that I can't stand listening to, but, I'll still listen to them anyway. You know what I mean? Because what I do is maybe something comes out of their mouth I can use in my own life. And so what I do is I eat the meat, spit out the bones. Whatever I like, I chew on. Whatever I don't like, I spit out. It's that simple. And sometimes I have to tell myself that if I'm in the presence of someone that I kind of can take or leave, but we're in a conversation or we're in a circle of people that people might have gone out to lunch, and it's inevitable. You can't say, oh, I don't want that guy to come, unless you do it beforehand and plan beforehand. But when you're in a group and you leave an AA meeting and a bunch of people, there's 4 or 5 guys standing outside, and they're like, oh, you want to grab something to eat? You can't look at the guy and say, well, if this guy don't go, then I'll go. So I'm able to go, and then if need be, I can take an hour of torture from anyone. So I can let somebody torture me with their talking for an hour. I'm just, have some patience and some tolerance and tolerate them for an hour. But I'm not gonna hang out with them every day. And then if somebody try to invite them every day, then I would have to either have a talk with whoever was going, or I would just leave. That's so that, like I said before, is like something in the toolbox. I have a toolbox, and it's not. We have to learn which socket fits the nut, because there are there's not one socket that fits all the nuts. When you buy a socket set, like a wrench set, a socket set to, work on a car or work at work or whatever, there's all different size sockets and all different size nuts, and there's a bunch of different sockets to fit different size nuts. So everybody's a little nuts, and we have to learn to bring our socket set and bring the right socket to fit the nut. And see if we can, be of some service. And if not, and if we can't, and there's that other saying, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I've learned how to do that too. I always felt, there was times in my younger years in life, I always felt like if somebody said something and they were wrong, I had to correct them. If they did something and I didn't have the same beliefs and we weren't seeing along the same lines, I would have to do something to control that situation. Today, I don't have to do it. If I'm in a diner, go out to eat with the guys, and a guy comes and it's just for the 1 hour, and I know this guy, all he'll do is just talk about himself and how great he is and how great, how knowledgeable he is about life and how much, I just say to myself, instead of because what I used to do was jump in. And whenever he slipped up, or someone in that, not just one person in particular, but whenever they slipped up, boom, I would pounce on them. And just try to make them stumble with what they were saying, if I caught a lie, try and, show everyone that they lied. Today, you do you. Just do what you got to do. As long as you're not affecting my life in any way, and as long as you're not doing anything to hurt a friend of mine or, one of my friends' family members or anything like that, go crazy. Be yourself. Just do what you want to do. I watch people stream and I look at, certain people, and there are people that I don't like their streams. I don't like their technique on how they use to get people to get into their stream. What they do is none of their business. My business is what goes on here in this stream. And if someday it's supposed to be a good stream and people are supposed to watch and people are supposed to enjoy it and people are supposed to come in and interact with me, then they will. And if I do this for a certain amount of time and nobody gets nothing from it and nothing happens from it, and I quit, I didn't waste my time, because everything that I say, I just reinforce it for myself. So I'm not losing anything. I never lose. And that's how I gotta, keep my mind. I have to keep that up front and in my own mind. and not worry about what other people think. You know, I used to, it fell off. I got to find a way to get it to stick up there. But, you know, I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ. So I have my cross up there, and it kept falling down. So I got to like put a screw in the wall and screw it. It fell off today. I'm not in the mood to go get a screw and measure and do all that, so I didn't do it. But that's me. That cross is like who I am, and I identify with it, and I'm not gonna not put that up because I'm afraid people ain't gonna look at me. I don't care because the people that are supposed to come here will come here. I got a Met, you know, my sword's in the back, and right on the top of that table is a Met hat. If you're a Yankee fan and you're some kind of fan of baseball that doesn't like the Mets, if you don't come here, no problem. Go to where you got to go. I feel that the people that show up here will be the people that belong here, and the people that I have something to say to. And the truth is that they have something to say to me. So that's how I maneuver in this life. That's what I'm gonna say. That's how I maneuver in this life. I maneuver in this life to try and be of service to people, to try and let people in, and for me, they might benefit from it, but I'm always the one that benefits the most from it. When I watch somebody excel in life, it brings me joy. When I see someone that was a drug addict, alcoholic, you know, their family not talking to them, their kids not talking to them, their job don't want to talk to them, and people don't want to have anything to do with them, and then they come in the program and stop drinking and start to grow and start to be better at their job and start to be a better father or mother, start to be a better brother, sister, or brother, and start to be a contributing member to society instead of someone who takes. If I was part of that, I don't take the credit for it. I give God the credit for it, but I thank God for using me in that person's life. And so, like when I put on there sober living, feeling useless, I just put that there because in case someone else is feeling the same way, like hey, you know what? Because I know that people feel that, people might not admit it, but they feel it. There are times I know that everyone sits in with their life and they feel useless. They feel like they haven't accomplished what they were supposed to, that they haven't been successful, that they haven't been loved, that they haven't, performed the greatest that they could at their job, haven't been a good wife, haven't been a good husband, whatever the case may be. I know that people are there, and those kind of feelings could make us feel like useless, to say, what am I even here for if I can't even, accomplish, because most people judge how successful they are, but by what they can touch, what they can feel with their hands, and even though I'm the type of person that learns by my hand, like I'm better at, to learn all this stuff in YouTube and in Twitter. I had to do this stuff with my hands. Reading it in a book, I can't do it. I have to watch somebody, so that's why YouTube is great. I have to watch somebody on YouTube do it, then start to do it, then make a mistake, then go back, do it again, and so on and so forth. So that's how I learn, and that's how I maneuver through life. So, you think it's easy talking to yourself for an hour and a half? It ain't. But I'm going to do it because I feel like, that right now there is a place. It's sort of like, when you go to AA, if you go to a meeting place and nobody's there and you expected to go to a meeting and have a meeting and nobody's there, you feel let down. Like I remember one time I went to a meeting. They used to have the spiritual meeting, and I remember it was like on Thursdays. And I went one Thursday, they were closed. I went another Thursday, they were closed. Instead of me just feeling like, oh, this is these people, they should do that. If I was going somewhere on a Thursday, I went somewhere else. I didn't let that get me down and make me quit. I just found someplace else to go. That's just what I did. So when I feel something that I'm supposed to be doing, I just do it, and then I just wait for the results. And one thing that when I do this stream is that if I told somebody when I first started doing this, I said at one time if I help one person, if one person gets help, if one person can take a little something from this, then that's good enough. That's good enough. And if nobody does, then I did, because I learned the best by repetition. So once I do say one thing twice, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Then it becomes a habit. It becomes something that I do on a regular basis, and it's something that I becomes part of my brain, and it becomes part of me and what I'm doing. So I never try to put numbers on things. I never try to put money on things. I never try to put value on something because of what other people think. I only put the value on things because of what I think and how I think it should be. And if it starts to feel bad, then I'll realize that I shouldn't be doing it. But one thing that I do know is that people will come, and people will find a place here. As long as this place is open, I leave the stream open and try to, try to feel useful. If one person comes here, then that's that, and we can have. I mean, I've been on this stream sometimes and spoken to, had a conversation with one person for 2.5 hours. One person would get on here, and I would talk to that one person for 2.5 hours. And then other people would come in, like, because sometimes I put like a topic underneath there, whatever that's called there. And people then, like me and this person, are having a conversation. So after 2 hours, this conversation isn't anything about living sober. It isn't about AA, and it isn't about even maybe feeling useless. It's about whatever we started to talk about. And then they come in and they're like, well, I saw that, and I said, all right, well, we can get back to that. If you want to go back there, we can go there. Are you feeling useless? Do you want to live sober? Are you a friend of Bill's? Are you in AA? Are you in NA? Do you have a program? We can always move the conversation back to where it's got to go. But I have to say that I've been encouraged by one person. I don't need 20 people watching me and in chat, and people are chatting and have all these people. If one person gets on here, and even right now, tonight, nobody has gone on. If one person, I notice people getting on and getting off. Sorry if I'm boring. Actually, I'm not sorry, but I just figured I would say that. Because today I went to a union meeting. Thursday, in my union, I am involved in the peer group, which we show up there once or twice a month. And we're there for people who have drug and alcohol problems. And we're just there for them to talk. For them to, if they want to learn about sobriety, if they want to learn what the union has for, what the union provides for somebody that may need to go to a detox or a rehab. whatever the person may need, we're there. And like a lot of times we show up, there's 4 people on the committee, and it's just us. And some of the guys, they want, the union doesn't promote it enough, they don't say enough, they don't, do enough. And I'm like, listen, we're here, the 4 of us are talking. Because right now, the 4 of us really never even learned, didn't know each other. We were just picked on because they know our experience in sobriety, because everybody has almost over 10 years clean and sober, and the union wanted to have this, and since people know me, they asked me to do it. The leader, the actual guy that's the actual union representative, knows me, and he asked me if I would be involved in this. And it's over a year we've been doing this, and people come and go, and it's like this stream. People come, people go. They stop in, they look around. The conversation about, they see that there's one person, and maybe they don't want to have one-on-one. Maybe they want to sit back and just listen to other people talk about sobriety and stuff like that, and maybe pull something out, but they don't really want to be involved in a full-on conversation. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm here. That's all I know. So just in case, it can be like I'm going to stay on for 2 hours. I'm going to spend 2 hours on the stream and sit here and talk. And if people come, they come. If they don't, they don't. But I'm here. I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be here to do, I feel. And, I do play the game Magic the Gathering. Maybe after 2 hours, I'll, play sober Magic the Gathering and do my dailies, because the dailies are like things that you get to get points and stuff like that. So I might, after this, switch it over to that and do my dailies, and that's that, But for now, I've committed to myself to at least hang around for 2 hours, talk for 2 hours, and of course I learned from listening to streamers that you got to keep talking. You can't have people come in to your stream and you not be saying anything. You have to be engaging, you have to be talking, you have to be, people have to feel welcome. So anybody's welcome here to talk about anything, because like I said before, and I do believe in God, and I believe that God loves everyone. No matter what you do, no matter where you come from, He loves you, wants to see you do good, and wants you to be blessed. So I hope that I can, because I know that taking this stream, and this is a 2-hour stream. People aren't going to listen for 2 hours on YouTube. You know what I mean? So I don't bother dropping this off on YouTube, because nobody listens to anything for 2 hours. So I think I did great. And to me, I didn't, usually I have some sort of line of thought that I want to try and follow. And tonight I didn't, and I was able to, still go on. Because, the feeling useless, the feeling of feeling useless, I feel useful. But that feeling of being useless can come over me. So what I got to do is move forward and feel useful. And be useful, and let other people know that, because I'm sure other people feel that, and let other people know that if you feel useless, it's a lie. It's just a feeling. It's not a fact. You're not useless. You people do have something. Everyone has something to contribute in this life. Everyone has something about them that is good. Well, not everyone, but we'll say 95% of the people. 95% of the people have something good in them that they can share, that someone else, that they can help someone with, So, but it doesn't mean that the feeling of uselessness and because uselessness comes self-pity. Because once we start feeling useless, then we start to feel sorry for ourselves. I'll say that again. Once we start to feel useless, then we start to feel sorry for ourselves. Then once we start to feel sorry for ourselves, then that takes on a whole life of its own. It just takes a whole life of its own. And I can't look at other, streams and say, well, this person does that, this person does this person does that, and it's not, they're using this or they're using that to try and get people to watch them. Doesn't matter. There's going to come a time when people want to talk about AA. I'm going to be on this, and I'm going to do this because I'm going to let a community grow here of people that are friends of Bill's, people that are in AA, people that are in NA, people that are trying to live sober and stay clean, people that are looking, need a place to go, and maybe it's 12 o'clock at night, and they want to go to they feel like they want to drink, or they feel like they want to go to a meeting, and they got nowhere to go, and they find this somehow, some way. And I think that because I found this somehow, some way. 5 months ago, I never even heard of Twitch. Even when I say to people now that I know, yeah, well, I stream on Twitch. They're like, stream on Twitch? What's Twitch? They don't even know what it is. And meanwhile, millions of people, I could look on the thing there and see, what is that? 3, 5, 6. There's 7,000 people just on just on the things that I watch. There's 7,000 people on. So that's why I'm saying I want to be here because sooner or later, people are going to know that, hey, there's a guy that streams and he talks about Alcoholics Anonymous, he talks about living sober, he talks about depression, he talks about sobriety, he talks about these kind of things in life, and these are the things that I'm going through, and I, want to show up there. And so I know that one thing that I need to do is to make time so then people know, when I'm going to be here to show up. But I know that it's a useful topic, and there are tons of people, people that might want to stay sober, clean and sober, and where they are right now in the world, they can't get to a meeting, or like here it's 20 after 12. So to try and find an AA meeting or an NA meeting at 20 after 12 is not going to be easy. And somebody will say, oh, well, I think I saw that guy on Twitch and he was talking about that, and let me go there and see if he's there. And then we can end up, like I said one time before, I ended up with one other person. I was about to go off, and then they came on, and they had something going on in their life, and we ended up talking like for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I planned to go to bed. And because this person was, needed to talk, we stayed there and had like a 2-hour conversation. And so I know that there's a place for this. There are plenty of people that are in AA, of course I know. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching Twitch. And like I said to myself, I 5 months ago didn't even know that this existed, that this platform existed, Twitch. I never even heard of it. And even my friends, when I tell my friends, they say, well, they like asking me what I've been doing. And I say, well, I'm streaming on Twitch. And they're like, Twitch? What the hell is Twitch? Well, what is that, So, this is why I'm here. And I'm here to be of service. I'm here to let people know, tonight I'm on here to be here for if someone is feeling useless, feeling like why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why I'm living this life and nothing is coming of it. I'm here to tell someone that they're not alone. They're not alone in those feelings. They're not by themselves. Other people feel that way. It's the same thing like it went, being in AA. In AA, the first step is we admitted we are powerless over alcohol and that our life had become unmanageable. The key to me is, like a lot of people say, wow, one of the key words in that is admitted. You admitted you were powerless over alcohol, admitted your problem. For me, the key word in that is we. That I'm not alone. That I'm not by myself. I'm not the only person that is powerless over alcohol. I'm not the only person that when I drank, my life had become unmanageable. I'm not by myself. It's we. There's other people out there. I'm not fighting this battle by myself. Because even when I first tried to stop drinking, I tried try to stop, but I was alone. And there is strength in numbers. There is no one-man armies. There is no one-man football teams. The only time that even if you're like I was in martial arts, even when you're in martial arts, you're not by yourself. Even if you're a boxer, you might get in the ring by yourself, but you still have a corner. You still have people when you come and they throw water on you and cool you off. You have another guy rubbing your legs. You got another guy, massaging your shoulders. You got another guy telling you, hey, you got to keep your hands up. You got to give advice. So even though he's in the ring by himself in the fight, he's not alone. Other people are there. And that's why I'm doing this too, because whatever somebody's going through, we never want them to be alone. I look at these other things because I never even knew there was this, just chatting, type of thing. Somebody had told me about it, and I never knew that it was just because just some people want to chat. So I'm here just to chat, just to talk about, be with friends of Bill. I know there's got to be someone that's one person out of, what is that, 3, 5, 6, 7,000 people. That there's got to be one person in that 7,000 people that I'm just looking at. There might even be more. Let's go down to the bottom and see a little bit more. Oh, see, that's 300 with that person. So there's probably more than that, 8,000 people. One of those 8,000 people have to be in AA. One out of 8,000 at least, I talked to a guy who's from Russia, and when he comes on, we talk for hours and hours, so and it's just one person. So if it's one person, somebody can be like in a rural area where they're not around a lot of people and they got a laptop and they, do this, platform, and I can be there. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to keep talking so this way if somebody comes in, they see somebody talking and not somebody like half asleep with their head down. I saw a great stream. I guess the guy's trying to make his whatever those the things, the affiliate or whatever. And he was playing music. And his camera was on a rock. And the rock, he said, was his pet rock. And he was playing music and had his camera pointed to the rock, and the rock was painted with a smile and the little eyeballs, those little glue-on eyeballs. And there was like 10 people watching that. So believe it or not, that encouraged me because I said if 10 people could watch a rock and listen to whatever music that he was playing, which I still have to figure out how to play music on this, and listen to the music and watch that rock, I got a little something on a rock. A little some. Maybe not a lot, but I got a little something on a rock. So I think that I can do okay. Oh. I mean, I wouldn't do this, but I know that nobody's on, so I'm going to take a look and see what's going on here. So, I know that somebody, if 10 people will look at a rock, one person will look at me. No doubt. Because I even think that I'm a little better looking than that rock, because that rock was like a little gray. It had like funny eyeballs and stuff like that, you know. So we were both bald though. The rock didn't have any hair either, like me. But what are you gonna do? So I figured somebody's got to engage at some time with something more than a rock. So even though my head looks like a rock, it's not a rock and it's not empty. And I can answer back. The rock never answers back. I even like went back to it a couple of times just to see. That rock never answers nobody. So I don't understand the whole concept of his rock thing, but apparently he has about 100 followers and 10 people were looking at that rock. So let's think of some. So I'll talk about, I remember one time I worked in a movie theater. That was the best job, the Fort Wayne Theater. It's not there anymore. And it was the best job in the world. One of the best jobs I've ever had. I've had two great jobs, two jobs that I liked. And they said if you have a job that you like, you never work a day in your life. So I noticed like some of the magic streamers that love, playing magic, they'll never have a job in their life. Because they like streaming magic, and there's the one guy, Todd Stevens. I love the guy. He's like such a great streamer. His interaction with chat is awesome, and he's just an overall good guy. You can tell that he's a good guy, and he streams magic. This is his job. He streams for a living, and he always has a bunch of people watching him. And he is a great guy. And I forgot the whole reason why I even started talking about this. Oh, I was talking about great jobs. So I remember we were kids and that we used to work in a movie theater, the Fort Wayne Theater. And we used to, back then, you would, now everything's with, swiping cards, this, that, and the other thing. But back then, you used to get tickets. So what we used to do is they used to give like little tickets, tickets like that. And then you would bring them to the door. You would rip them, take your half, go in the movie theater. And then the lady that took the tickets would keep the ticket there. And, So what we used to do is when we used to get a guy and he used to take the tickets. And what we used to do is we used to go inside, take all the ripped tickets, pick them up off the floor, because once the people got in, they took that half a ticket and threw it on the floor. And we would pick up all the half a tickets. And then what he would do is he was at the door and he would take the ticket, the full ticket, make believe he ripped it and give you the half a ticket and have the whole ticket. And then when we got like 50 tickets, we would send another guy outside and he would go sell those tickets for half price. So then when you came up to the door, you already had a ticket and we would just rip it and you would go in. Then they used to, and I know the statute of limitations ran out on this, so I could talk about it. Then we used to, how they counted how many, we didn't do it with the sodas because that would be disgusting. Not that it's not disgusting that you did it with the popcorn. But they would count like how many popcorns they sold they would take out 100 popcorn holders. And if they sold 100, they sold 100 popcorns. That's how they figured it out. So what we would do is go clean the popcorn boxes out, the holders out, put 20 of them together, and then put our popcorn boxes on the shelf. And then the guy that was working the popcorn would put them in the old popcorn boxes, and we would make that money, never put that cash in the register, and we will make that money. So even as a 16, 15, 16, no, 16, I was working it because it was on the books. So even as a 16-year-old kid, I was conniving, trying to make money, do little things on the side to make extra money. And, a little, we had our little thing going in the movie theater there, our little movie theater ring. But what made that job nice was we would get all the people. It was, it was not like today where they have 20, screens in a movie theater. I worked there when they had one, and then they got three. So when they had three, we would, you would get all the people in. It wasn't like we were security, we were kids. We would get all the people in, and then we would just sit and watch a movie, go to sleep, whatever, and then we just had to be awake to make sure the people went out the right way, so people were coming in and people were going out, and, and we were kids, and basically we ran the place. I mean, we had an adult, and he was the manager, but basically we were kids, and we were running the joint, And we were all friends, outside of, we were all in high school together and stuff like that, so we kind of ran the joint, and, we had a lot of fun. It was a great job. Then my other job that I had that I really loved was being a stagehand. I worked on Broadway shows, and I worked in a scenic shop and built sceneries for the Broadway shows. So hence, my look is I wanted to have like a little stage or something behind me. I just didn't want it to be blank where you saw my front door and my couch. You know what I mean? I wanted to have a little something, So I created this. And actually my girl was, I said, I was going to try to put like some kind of curtains or something up there. And my girl came up with this idea saying, so I was going to try and get like another tree or something like that. And my girl said, nah, leave one plain, leave one, like that. It doesn't look so busy, So I doubt anybody's going to watch this stream and see this all the way until the end to give me a little feedback on should I use both sides, with the pictures on it, or one side. Because they do have another one that's all black, with it doesn't have any color in it, So I got 8 minutes left, and I'm going to do the 2 hours because that's what I committed myself to do, is 2 hours. Then I might just do my dailies. I don't know. I got to go see on Magic the Gathering, if my dailies are. I think I might have 2 dailies because I didn't do it yesterday. I said I'll do it so this way I can talk about sobriety and stuff like that, and play Magic at the same time, and we can have some people watching Magic and talking about sobriety and living sober and being in AA, or maybe not, or just feeling. I'm not going to put feeling useless on that one, but that was just a topic I put up there tonight because that's what I was feeling over the weekend. And like when I was saying that feelings aren't facts, because I was feeling that way over the weekend, feeling useless. Then Sunday, then Saturday I had the 3 phone calls from the friends. Sunday, I watched football and spoke to another person. Monday, I told you my friend's mom died, so I went to the funeral. I saw all my friends that I grew up with from childhood. We all hung out there and, got to just talking about life there. And Tuesday was my meeting. We have a peer group in my union, so I met up over there with them. And like I said, I was hurt on the job, so I did physical therapy. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. So I got physical therapy tomorrow early in the morning. So I got to go do that. I thought I had nothing to do tomorrow, but I do. So I got to do physical therapy in the morning. And I did take it. Let me see. Because they send me That's one great thing that they do. I got to remember where they send it though. I don't think they send it to the phone. I don't know if they send it to messages, but they send it somewhere. They do send it somewhere. So, or maybe an email. Maybe they send it in an email. Let's see. No. No. I gotta figure out where they send that because I can't. Do not reply. Blah blah blah. No. So apparently, I gotta figure out where they send that because they send it and then once it goes away, I can't find it again. But I think it's at 8:45. Oh, I have it written down on my. I have it written down on my thing. And what I did was at the end of last week, I had them write it all, made my schedule for the following week, and I misplaced it. So you're never perfect, you know what I mean? It seems like it's always something. So where are we at? We're at an hour and 55 minutes. I got 5 more minutes. And this is in real life. This is about real life. This is about mental health because that's what it is. I got to figure out too, because my union today, they gave out like a whole thing of how they're changing our medical plan and how they're doing things differently with that. And, and I do go to therapy. So now I got to figure out if my therapist takes this new thing and I got to write it down. So that's like next Tuesday. So what I do is I put stuff on my refrigerator so this way I can remember because I got a horrible memory. But that's what happens when you get old. And don't say, no, that's not what happens when you get old. You're as old as you feel, this, that. Because that is a bunch of bull crap. You know what I mean? When you get old, you start to feel it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Guys that I know that have been in great shape their whole life, you see them move around at this stage of their life, and it takes them a little while longer to get up off the floor. Their kicks are a lot slower. Their punches are slower. They can't punch as long. So everybody has that where they don't, you get older and it affects you, And when you get real old, it really affects you. So it's not as old as you feel because some people are 80 years old and they might. And they can say to themselves, I don't feel 80. So they don't feel 80, but they'll definitely feel like they're 70. Whether you feel it or not, your body's 80 years old. There's nothing you're doing about that. You could say I feel like I'm 20, but you're not jumping up and throwing 3 kicks in the air before you land. That's for sure. Because nobody's doing that. So I'm going to end this stream like probably a minute after 2 hours. Just so I can, make sure that I've done this for 2 hours. Because I said I want to commit for 2 hours. And stick to it. So maybe I should do that. Maybe I should go on what does this say here? On this schedule. See what this says in the schedule, and then put maybe Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and make sure I get on no matter what happens. Because even Monday Night Football is on at 8. So if I get on at 8 and stay on until 10, then at least, I could watch the end of the game. Maybe I can't watch the beginning of the game because I like watching football. It's not that I'm like a crazy football fan that I need to watch football, but I'm going to be out of work at least for a couple of more months. So if I can say that and have people show up at those times, we'll see what happens. and maybe I'll you know, maybe I should put friend of Bill's, sober living, and then just leave that on, and put a little bit more of what does that say? My name is Ray, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a master plumber, trained in martial arts, been in recovery. I've been playing magic on and off for 20 years. Yeah. There's people, this is another area to go down. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay on another couple of minutes, and then I'm out. Hey, nobody came tonight, but actually, this is actually the first time that nobody came. A couple of people came and popped in, lurked around, and then left. But at least some people came and just, at least my topic made some people come and stop by. So that's always good. I know that some people don't want to get. Some people need like a trigger to start talking. Like I have to say something that will trigger them off, and then they'll start talking about it. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. So let's see. Because I know I met a kid at work, and he says so. I got 20 there. So I don't know the whole. I don't know the whole thing on how to get more followers, this, that, the other thing, because I'm not gonna do the conventional, what people do to get people. I'm just gonna be myself, do my thing, and that's that. So we're already on for 2 hours, and I think what I'm gonna do is switch over to magic. So there is a way to do that. So I'm probably going to, unless somebody comes on and wants to talk in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to switch over to Magic the Gathering and play the game for a while. See what it's, oh, there he is, my friend Alex. He how you doing, Alex? How's it going? You came at you always come right at the right time. That is for sure. That is for sure. You always come at the right time. How are you doing today? How's it going where you are? Things are good. I was just talking about my topic was I'm okay. I'm doing good today. My topic was like I put like feeling useless because over the weekend I started to feel like what am I here for? What am I doing on this planet? Well, what is my calling in life? And then Saturday, I had my friend's mom died on Friday, and then Saturday he was very upset about it, and his brother called me up and talked to him, and I ended up staying on the phone with him for like 3 hours. Then I had another friend that got hurt on the job, and he started to talk to me, and I was able to give him information on what I did when I got hurt on the job. And so then Sunday I just watched football. Monday what did I do on Monday? I had my physical therapy and stuff like that. But then Tuesday I did my peer group in my union, and then today I went to a union meeting and spoke to some people. Yeah, so I was able to be useful to some people because that's my that's my topic is that I want to feel like useful to people. I want to feel like there's a reason why I'm here. So I was feeling useless, and so I made that my topic. So this way, in case somebody's feeling useless, so they can, maybe I can help them, bring them to a place where they can know that they're useful, because everybody has a purpose in there's a purpose and a plan for everyone's life, and everyone is useful in some way to other people, and doing stuff in their lives for other people. So that's where I came on, because sometimes I write a little something down and have some notes. I had no notes. I just winged it. And what's going on with you? So what time is it there? What is it, about 4:30 over there in the afternoon? Did you do your first job today? Because I remember you said you were off on Sunday nights, right? So you had to go work on, or just after 3:30. So I remember you saying that Sunday night you didn't have to work. And I know that Monday's not a holiday for you because you don't have Veterans Day here like we have here. Here, Monday was Veterans Day. It was a holiday. So nobody worked. And we judge by nobody working. Whenever there's a holiday here, the banks are closed. So once the banks are closed, nobody does anything. Oh, February 23rd? Okay. Yeah, so we had that day. It was Monday. They had a parade. They did their thing, and and everybody was off. So I forgot. I had to go. I did go. I had to go to my friend's mother's funeral on. She passed away on Friday, and Monday they had her here. I don't know how you guys do it, but here they lay the body out for a day. So for one day they put the body out, and everybody comes to say their goodbyes and this and that. And so it was funny because I went, all my old friends from the guys that I grew up with. This guy that mom passed away was like my second mother. I was always in their house, always, up to no good. And she was always the cool mother that, tried to talk us into, the right path, even though we were going in the wrong path. But people get old, they pass away. She was 85 years old. They said that she was sick for like 2 years. And, what are you going to do? Everybody dies. Nobody gets out alive. Well, as of right now, and as much as we know of anyway, who knows, what the government does. Maybe they, yeah, it's something we all got to face that. You know what I mean? It's gonna come. Hopefully it comes later when we get to do some enjoyment, because I know, like, you're going to school, you're becoming a nurse, you work 2 jobs, you're very busy, so once you start doing your nursing full time, you'll have some time for yourself, hopefully. Unless they have you working 12 hours a day. So I got a question for you. So what kind of food do you eat in Russia? Do they have like here where I live in New York, you can get any kind of like food here, any kind of nationality food. So you can get Italian food, you can get Chinese food, you can get sushi, Japanese food, you can get Polish food. I never saw like a Russian restaurant. Pastry, meat, onions and vegetables. Okay. So now I'm gonna have to call my friend Alex. Remember, I told you the guy that I know for many years is Russian. I remember him taking me to restaurants. I'm not sure if they were Russian restaurants, because I know like the Turkish restaurants, they have like a shawarma and, more like type Arabic type food. Like they roll the grape leaves. They roll the rice and the thing and the grape leaves and stuff like that. Your national dish is a pelmenti. Oh, I'm gonna write that down. By the time I talk to you next time, I'm gonna have one of those. Pel. Oh, pelmeni. Meni. That's your national dish. Because I know over here, like the Polish people have like pierogies and kielbasi and stuff like that. Because I work with like a lot of different nationalities with the Polish guys, but we have a lot of Polish in plumbing here. So they, a lot of times we will go out and they would say, come to my type of place. So I know that right around the corner from me is like a Polish deli. It really depends on the region. Over where I used to live by Kazakhstan, there was more Middle Eastern influence. I got you. Over the coast, you have lots of fish. Well, that usually happens, right? Wherever there's ocean. I mean, that's the same as here in the United States. Because, like, if you go, like, in Maryland, like where Maryland is known for crabs. So they have a lot of crabs and lobsters in their, where in their ocean area there. So Maryland is known for, like they say, called crab cakes, Maryland crab cakes. And it's known for, even if you like buy crab cakes in here in New York, they call them Maryland crab cakes. It's supposed to give it some kind of, legitimacy, So it depends here too. Like there's parts here where, like I know, like I was in Hawaii one time and they had like this fish. I don't know what it was, but they called it mahi mahi. I don't know what kind of fish that is, but maybe it's called mahi is the fish. I don't know, but they made that. But I didn't like. I'm not a fish person. But I do go more for the Middle Eastern. Like here we have Middle Eastern influence here, where they do like the souvlaki. Well, the souvlaki I think is Greek, but they do the Turkish meat. The what the hell they call it again? I said it before. The shawarma, chicken shawarma over rice. They make the grape leaves. They put the the peppers with rice and chickpeas and stuff like that. I usually go there like at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. But during this week, I'm going to find a panini. I'm going to find that. Because I am a dumpling type of guy. I do like dumplings. And I'm going to call my friend Alex. I'm going to call Alex and have him take me to a Russian restaurant. Because he keeps on telling me, let's go have lunch. And, I'm going to tell him I have a Russian brother in Russia. So we're going to, so he can take me and give me a little schooling. Borscht, actually, I have eaten borscht. I have eaten that. So then I guess that he did take me to a Russian restaurant then. Because I did have borscht. So I guess where he took me was a Russian restaurant. So then I can't say I didn't, because I remember that and having that. That's your favorite Russian food, borscht. Okay. I'm saying it right, borscht? Because I remember him taking me there to a place. Yep, and I wouldn't know how to say it if I didn't eat it. So he did take me there. Because actually I lived away for a little while. And then when I moved back and I called him, he's like, let's go have lunch. And he took me to a place and we had borscht. So I imagine that's only in a Russian restaurant. So he did take me to a Russian restaurant. I don't know why I thought it was something. You know what? I might have had the dumplings there too, now that I'm thinking of it. So do you have to go to work tonight or no work tonight? Oh, that's good. That's good. So you get home from one job and relax a little bit, do a little, do your errands, because I'm sure you got to do some errands during the daytime. And, you know, I'm glad that you saw me on and spend a couple of minutes with me. So, if you work in the day and the night, what times do you go to school? Because I know that nursing, I know here nursing is tough. It's a lot of school and a lot of homework. To walk the dog. Oh, right, 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 right. You're right. Yes. Yeah. I want to add, because I kind of tried to do it after you told me about it. So let me just see. Where is the Discord thing? Because actually, try this. Why don't you click on my Discord? Because I think I got a link to go to my Discord. I think I got it. If you want to click on the link, the Discord link, because I think I was able to do it. Invite invalid. So now it says invite invalid. Activity. Yeah. So I think if you go to my Discord now, if I think really have to have permission to join. Well, when I click on it, I know it says that, but click on it anyway, because I know that when I click on it, like now, when I click on the Discord, it does say invite invalid, and then when it says continue to Discord, it goes to a page that my name is on. So maybe you can see if that happens. Because I just clicked the Discord. Why is my invite invalid? Let's see. All right, well we can try something if you wanna. If you want to try something, no, it doesn't work for you. Okay. If you want to try something, I'll go for it. You tell me what to do. I know I got something, some Discord, channels. Or maybe I should go there and find the link and redo it and put the same link back in there. So let me go to Panos, right? And find Discord. I say. Yeah, if you want to try it out, I can follow you. Maybe first I can send you the current link and then you can join to see what the options are. All right, so let me make this window smaller. All right, put this over here. Let me go to Discord. Where the heck is Discord? That's funny. Now I don't see the. Yes, Twitch, Croaky. Now I don't see the link to Discord now on there. Okay, Discord Inc. Discord. The item has been changed or removed. This shortcut won't work properly. No longer work properly. Do you want to delete this Discord? Yes. Okay. So what do I got to do? Download Discord again? Let me see. Let me see. Let me try to log in. I thought that I did. Let's see. All right, so I do have a page here. Plumber 462. I don't think that I created a server though. So let's see, create a server. Enter a server name. Okay, so now it says invite friends to 1z20. Okay, so here, let me copy this. Let me copy this. Copy. Copied. Let me go here to my channel. Okay, so now I do have a link put in there. How do, and let me go, I'm going to put submit. So I don't know how to make it stay there I don't know how to make it stay there, but I'm going to leave that there and then I'm going to go back and you, okay, try it now and see if that works. Try it now. It might work. I don't know how to keep it, help keep it from changing, because you said it expires every hour. I don't know how to keep that from happening though. But try to click on it now, see if it works. It worked. Now, how do I keep that from changing? Because that's the second time that I did that. And then I don't know how to keep that Discord, that link on here to go to it. On my home page. Because this thing is telling me to accept invite. See, I don't know if I have two different ones or one. Welcome to the server, plumber 462. That's what it said. Oh, I see that you joined it. Says here you figured it out. So back to the place where it says invite people. Where does it say that? Invite people. Here's general, voice channels, general, download, server discovery, add a server. I don't know where it says that, invite people. Let's see. Oh, invite your friends to the server by clicking at the share button. I got it. Okay, I copied that. Oh, I see. Share this link with others to gain access to this server. And then you say, so back to the place, invite people. There should be, oh, I see. Oh, I see what you got. Set this link to never expire. Okay, so I got to change links then. I got to change this again then. Yeah, you see, I know that I'm doing something wrong because it keeps on saying inviting me back to the page. So it's inviting me back to my own page from my Twitch page. Okay, so I'm going to keep that one. And then go back to edit panels. And then continue to Discord. Okay, so I see you there. And then there's three guys that I follow are on there. I think so. Should be able to turn it off. I did. I saw on the bottom that little box, turn it off. So now, explain to me what is the reason better to go on Discord than to chat on Twitch, or chat on the Streamlabs thing. What is the advantage? What is the advantage to do that? I don't know the advantage to do that. I know that we set up the Discord, but I'm not sure what the advantage is to do that. Because I've never done, I just started streaming, so I'm not sure why everybody goes on Discord and sets up a Discord channel. But I see we're friends on there now. I was following a couple of more people, but I can probably figure out how to go looking for them and find them. So Discord, people in your community can send pictures and videos, talk in different channels, and talk when you aren't streaming too. Oh, I get you. I get it. So, right. So you're saying that I can put this on my phone? Discord on my phone? Like download it on the phone and then do it on the phone? Discord, people in your community can send you. Yeah, it's an app store too. Oh, okay. So I can download that and put it on my phone. I got you. I'm not 100% sure. So what I got to do is just figure out how to put this on my desktop. So this way I only use this one, because I have another one with another name, but this is the one. Because what happens is this is like an additional server, I guess. I set this up for myself, right? I didn't have a server. So this one is my server. Is that what you're saying? My personal server? Trying to see, like, how do I put this on my desktop? I don't know how to do that. Like, to put this link. Yeah, you can change, edit everything and people and know that the server belongs to you. I got you. I got you. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for the help. The only thing is there something on here that says add to desktop so I can put this on my desktop? Or get the desktop app. Need system wide, push to talk, get the desktop app. I see. Download. Okay, so this one is download to PC. Do you want to do Escort? Run. I got it. Beautiful. So I guess this will tell me how to, I guess it should just show up, because right now it's downloading. This one in particular. Yeah, you can change, edit everything, and people know that it's the server that belongs to me. Okay. Yeah, so this is like saying it's going to take a minute. Oh, I see. I don't want to download it twice. Oh, you see, this is like coming up in my notepad somehow. So it's not really working. There was an error while installing the application. Check the setup log for more. You know what the? Yeah, the setup log is yeah. I'm a little old. I'm not too good with this computer business here. But we do have this, so that's the main thing. But I don't want to have to turn on Twitch to go find this. Or on the go, download. So I'm going to have to go to my phone and then download this onto my phone. And I guess I had friends on the other one. I can just go to them and just invite them, right? It's easier, what, to invite people with the desktop app? Yeah, the problem is that I can't get this to download to my desktop for some reason. And the only... Oh, I can send a link to chat or send it to Discord friends. Oh, okay. The only problem is I don't see the see it downloaded on my... Let's see. Let me go in here and... Yeah, you see that link? I got to go to my channel. and then press Discord, and then it goes to that page. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm getting like an X. And it says a JavaScript error occurred in the main process. But then it'll let me continue to Discord. It'll let me continue. Let's say. Move to new window. Add tab to favorites. Oh, I see. See, but this one is called two things, Plumber 62 and then 1Z on top. See, so this isn't under Plumber 462. This is under 1Z. I don't know why. See, it's yeah, I don't know why this won't For some reason it won't download. And then the actual Discord is getting called Plumber 462 invited you to join 1Z. If it helps, I can restart and make you your own server, and then after make you the owner. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. But like it's showing that out Plumber 462 is online with you, but the top name is 1Z. And oh, change nickname. I got it. Oh no, that's my nickname. I got it. Oh, I guess it's under 1Z because that's my email address. No, you know what I would do? I will invite people under this, and I'll just redo this like this. But for some reason, it won't let me. Even with both of them, it won't let me download it to my desktop for some reason. There's got to be some kind of way to. Yeah, this link continues to change. Some people that speak better English than I do and know Discord very well. I would ask you to help them also if you like. Oh, no, I could understand English. I could understand you typing. It's just that I just am not. It's just that I don't want to do 20 different things. So I might have to just maybe delete the whole thing and start all over. Because I don't have too many friends right now. So I have a friend that he does know how to do it, so I'm gonna have to ask him to come over and do it. But right now, you can get to me from there. Because I understand you perfectly. Because for some reason, when I go there from here, right? I put the link in there, but then it keeps on want to changing the link. So I don't want to keep changing the links or every time. And then when it says go to Discord, I just go to Discord. But it won't uh, put this link there for some reason. Like the little, so I can just go to Discord and fresh all. But this is how, even when I first started stream, I just mean that they have their own servers and know how to set it all up. I don't know too well. Sure, anytime, yeah, any help I can get, I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try it. Like when I started to stream, it took me months before I was able to get this all to, and I had to have someone come over, like to set this up, the overlays, this, that. I had kind of was able to get myself on, but it was, kind of, it was running slow and all this kind. So I had somebody come and then I forgot what happened with the Discord. I think he said he was going to come another time and set it up, and we just never did. Oh no, he didn't know how to do it either. He didn't know how to do it. So I actually, though, now was able to get this link because you told me how to stop it from changing. So at least somebody can get in touch with me if they wanted through this. But I'm not going to download this to my phone until I won't download this to my phone until I know get it exactly right, because it seems a little like I have onesie on there and plumber on the bottom, so it doesn't seem like it's working quite right. So, so maybe I have to delete the whole thing and then start all over. So I'm not worried about it as long as I can get online and stream and then I don't feel like I'm doing too bad for only been streaming 2 months, a month and a half really. Because there's so much to learn doing this. It's crazy. I tell you what, if I restart, I'll take some time to make you a server. So now, when you say restart, what do I do? Like I have to shut everything off? You're busy. You're busy. I mean, delete the server I already made. Okay. I don't know how to do that. Let's see. Are you sure you want to leave onesie 20? You won't be able to rejoin the server unless you're re-invited. I don't even know what. All right, so let's leave server. And okay, are you saying that you can do that on the link that I left you, or because I'm not sure what to do? It'll make a new link. Okay. Go for it. You tell me what to do. I'll follow you. No, I guess plumber 462, no? I can't. Hey, Daniel, how you doing, Daniel? I started my stream with that feeling useless because I was talking about like before I felt over the weekend. During the weekend, um, I started to feel like like in life, what am I, what am I here for? What am I, those were thoughts that like came into my head. So uh, I thought that would be a good topic to get started with. So what I did was I started. Perhaps I can answer those. No, I kind of like answered it to myself. I what is the meaning of life? Hmm. Well, what if the well here's what I came up with over the weekend. I was starting to feel that way on Friday, and then like as the weekend progressed, I had a couple of friends call me up, and they were going through stuff in life, and they started to talk to me, and then I realized that I'm not not that I think that I'm useless. It was a thought that came into my mind, and I started to feel like that, and then I started the chat with that, because in case someone else was feeling useless. I really don't. Do I think there is an afterlife? Well, yeah, I do. I think there is an afterlife. I don't want to talk about like religion and stuff like that, but my I do have Christian views, and my view is, yeah, that you go to heaven after this. Not that I come back here as so what happened was over the weekend, I was just explaining how, like saying, oh, okay. So I was just explaining on how I was feeling those feelings, and that they weren't facts. Like I was when I started to talk about it in the chat, I said, just because I feel that way, it's not a fact, and that then it's as the weekend progressed, those feelings left because people started to call me and make me feel, well, what is Christianity to me? Well, just a being, a follower of Christ. That's, believe that Jesus died for my sins. That's it. But I don't want it to be like that kind of channel. You know what I mean? I want to mostly, if you notice in the beginning, I put Friends of Bill's Sober Living because I'm clean and sober over 30 years. So I really want to have my channel move towards talking about sobriety and living sober and stuff like that. So that's where I want my channel to, the direction I want my channel to go in is to talk more about sobriety and sober living and stuff like that. Not particularly Christianity, because Christianity, being a Christian is, all different. There's all different types of Christians: Catholics, Protestants, people that are believe. I know where you're getting at when you say, "What about repentance?" That can you're saved, once saved, always saved. I don't want to get into those conversations with people. Yeah. Go for it. Do you know that Jesus said, "Not all that confess and say the Lord will inherit the..." Yeah, I know. I know. I don't want to get into that with people. I don't want to get into that with people because huh? Does that scare me? One thing that I can tell you is, I believe that when someone gets saved, if you I would never deny Christ to anyone, no matter what. You couldn't beat it out of me that Jesus didn't die for my sins. You can't beat that out of me. The only way that can get into your spirit is if you're saved. So that's what I'm concerned with. Because there's two ways to believe that. You know what I mean? Sure. It's sort of like, I believe you. It's sort of like being a Republican and a Democrat. You know what I mean? Everybody has their ways, you know. And I can get scripture, and for everything that you tell me, I can give you a scripture back to you. So that's why I don't get into it. I believe that Christians shouldn't have that argument. I'll watch it. I'm not going to watch it now. I'm not going to watch it now, but I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Because right now I was talking with my friend Alex, and I don't want to get into that whole debate. I know. I know you do. I do. Well, I don't know you personally. You popped into the channel, and that's fine. And I'm open to you have the link. Just give me a second, Daniel. So you have a link. join it with your Discord account, and I'll walk you through what you have done so far. So, I'm going to have to go to the Discord. So, I'm in Discord, right? I'm imagining that this is my Discord account. And what do I do with the link? What do I do with the link? I have this link. Join it with your Discord account. How do I do that? How do I join it with my Discord account? Log into your Discord account and then click on the link. Okay, I logged into my Discord account. And then click on this link here, or you put that link into my, I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay. I got you. I got you so far. So log into my Discord account, and yeah, stick around, Daniel. I'm not chasing you around. We're cool. Um, so log into my. I did do that, Alex, and I see me, you, and Daniel in there right now. And what do I do now? Okay. So right now, this is the general chat where it will announce new people joining and people can chat about whatever they like. And now, how do I get this? I've created a few channels. If you don't like them, you can delete them and add new ones. It's all up to you. So where are introduce yourself, support and advice and pictures. Those you added those? Yes. It says, I mean, I don't know if I could save it. Now, how do I get this link and link this to my Twitch account? Yeah, I don't even know how to join voice. I don't even know. This is all new right this minute. I'm teaching them how to use Discord right now. My English is pretty broken. I don't go into voice channels a lot. Well, you write in English pretty good, that's for sure. Copy the link that you sent me and put it in my Discord panel. How do I do that? So how do I copy that link off of there? How do I copy the link that you sent me? Because when I press on it, it goes right to the server. Let me try this one. Yeah, I don't know what happened. He said, open that up. Okay, so this page right here is the one that you just made. How do I know that you're still on. Like, how do I on my Discord, if I press it, it doesn't come back to this page that says introduce yourself, support and divide, pictures, voice connection, your name. It goes to someone else. It goes to another one. So I need to copy this page because I got two pages that show general page. and one is without you on it. Yeah, I got. Yep. So when I click on this link, continue to Discord. Right. So right now I'm on it on my desktop. Is there any way to find the link on this? Oh, I see. I see. Maybe this should be it. Let's see. Let's see if I take this and put it there. Copy. Yeah, for some reason. Well, let's see. General. Nope. Linking it. So in the desktop Discord, if you choose add server, okay, then join server. Now, how do I add this link? That's the whole thing. I don't know how to add that link in there. I don't know how to do it. Like, do I got to copy it and paste it or? Okay, let me see. Okay. DOSG. Nope. That's funny because I'm copying it and pasting it, and another link is coming in there. see what I'm doing. Putting submit. There it goes. I got it. I got it. What will you be doing if 5K viewers are watching your stream? I'm not right now. I'm sure I'm not going to get 5,000 people watching my stream, but I will. Right now, he's teaching me how to put Discord in there. So that's why, I started doing it because nobody was here. So I'm sorry. If you want to talk about something, go right ahead. I'm sorry. But there'll come a time when they'll be coming. From your mouth to God's ears that somebody will be watching my stream when there's 5,000 viewers. I guess he got insulted that I didn't see him. Well, anyway, Alex, thank you. We got it. Figured out because now it's going to that page that you made. Gotcha. Got you. I hope they. I hope. I think his name was the Choice. I hope he didn't get mad that I didn't. I didn't see that because we were trying to get Discord to work. What is his name? So, want to practice? Do you want to try and send a message to introduce yourself to the channel and see if it's working? Sure, I wouldn't mind. If you could tell me how to do that, sure. Welcome to the beginning of the Introduce Yourself channel. So I typed something in there. Do you see it? Yes, I see your name is green on the right side. Okay, so now I'm going to give you the ownership of the server. I'll teach you about Discord roles. Do you see how my name is in green? That means I have the moderator role as the owner. You can add or delete whatever roles you want. A role you can give people permission to do certain things, but you can give them names and colors. Okay? Now I'm going to give you ownership of the server, and next I'll teach you about Discord roles. Yes, I see your name is in green, and that means you have the moderator role. As the owner, I can add or delete whatever roles I want. A role can give people permission to do certain things or do nothing at all. You can give them names and colors, etc. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Should I still be streaming now, or should I, stop the stream? And we can do this from Discord. Because I think the choice, he wants to know if I had 5,000 people watching, what would I be doing? Would I be a streaming or playing with the Discord? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna end the stream.